During 2020, 20 major fires burned across the state of Oregon, fueled by high winds and dry climate. Thick smoke from these fires often covered communities for weeks, causing poor driving conditions and terrible health consequences. For vineyard owners, smoke like this has contributed to a smoky, ashy flavor in many of their wines.
Basically, we lost our entire crop of Pinot Noir, and it's really hard because all we make is estate wines.
This is due to smoke exposure that occurred while the grapes were still on the vines. Depending on the amount, this exposure may make the wine unsellable.
We were able to actually make some wine from Pinot Gris and Chardonnay, but it was not of the quality that I really wanted to have with my label on it, so that was sold in bulk. There was a loss, but not a total loss.
A recent study by researchers at Oregon State University aims to determine a set of chemical markers for this ashy flavor and provides steps to eliminate those chemical markers during the fermentation process.
We've been very excited about this because there's been so much smoke research over the years, and yet in speaking to the wine industry, a lot of the markers that are currently used, they're getting results back from labs, and it's showing they have low smoke compounds, and yet their wines taste really smoky, or the vice versa. Part of this paper is we did prove that this class of compounds is causing that sensory impact. And of course, that opens up a whole wide range of proper mitigation, prevention. It's a completely different class of compounds.
Volatile phenols and frequent tasting are currently the only predictors of smoke taint in wines.
We went and found some wines that didn't have them in it. So we measured specifically for the compounds of interest and found that they weren't in that wine. We went and added these new compounds to that wine at some different concentrations, and then ran sensory analysis. So the only thing different in all of these wines were these new compounds of interest. And the sensory analysis showed that once you reached a certain level, these wines perfectly matched our smoke-tainted wines.
But the discovery of thiophenols as a new chemical marker could offer a more reliable way to identify and potentially eliminate the smoke taint during wine making.
We're going to be able to narrow in on chemistries that can just remove those compounds from wine, so that you can therefore have a product that is the same quality you're looking to get, and you've managed to remove those smoke compounds, where currently you can't be that selective for what's going on.
The combination of these compounds has contributed to more than 90% of the total variance for each wine in the study.
We just really didn't know what was going on. With the two white wines, we could press whole cluster very gently, maybe only get about half the juice out of them, and then you'd try and struggle with various other things to see if you could get a little of that smoke taint out of the white juice, but not lose all of the flavors and aromas and end up with kind of a vinous equivalent of vodka.
So we think why some wines are more susceptible to smoke impacts than other wines is potentially because of the other components in the wine, and the thiols might be binding to them.
This study offers new insights and guidance towards future research to reduce the impacts of smoke on grapes and wine.
The work that Dr. Tomasino has been doing at OSU is really helping out with this a lot. There's not really very many things out there you can grow where you can start out with a patch of dirt and end up with a bottle of wine in your hands. I think if I couldn't be growing wine grapes up here, I would try and just sell that property to somebody that had a little different vision for it.